Good evening and welcome to the Bedminster Township Committee. This is our regularly scheduled September 18th meeting of the Bedminster Township Committee. Recognize that we have a full attendance of the Bedminster Township Committee here in person at 1 Miller Lane. Ms. Ray, may we please have the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Yes, Mayor. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier News Somerville, Burnsville News Whippany, and to all subscribers, and posted at the Township Municipal Building on January 10th, 2023.
Great, thank you. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we've got a little bit of a crowd here in Town Hall, and while it might, we might want to think that they're here for us, it's not really the case. So this is something that the Township Committee is pleased to undertake every time we have this opportunity. We are swearing in 2 new Bedminster Police Department officers. That is Officer Thomas Hill Jr. and Officer Joshua Velez. So, Ms. Ray, any particular order?
I have Joshua first.
You have Joshua Velez
yes.
first. So we do have a little bit of a statement about each officer. So Officer Velez lives in Essex County with his wife Leah and their 3 children. Officer Velez started his law enforcement career in Newark, where he worked from 2021 until joining the Bedminster Township Police Department on September 18. That's today. Officer Velez spent time as a member of the Plainclothes Fugitive Division, working alongside the U.S. Marshals, looking for and apprehending wanted felons. Officer Velez also worked with the Plainclothes Auto Squad Division, where he worked to recover stolen vehicles and apprehend the suspects who stole them. Thomas Hill Jr., and it says here TJ. Okay, so that's what we're going to be calling you going forward? Okay, TJ, okay. TJ lives in Warren County, New Jersey with his girlfriend, Taylor. Officer Hill graduated from East Stroudsburg University in 2015 with a degree in criminal justice. Officer Hill started his law enforcement career in Independence Township, where he worked from 2016 to 2018. He then moved to Mansfield Township Police Department, where he worked from 2018 until joining the Bedminster Township Police Department again on September 18, 2023, today. Officer Hill was a member of the Warren County SWAT team and received the Mansfield Township Meritorious Service Award in 2020 for his handling of a suicide mail. So both Officer Velez and Officer Hill, welcome to Bedminster. So we're going to do the swearing-in ceremony, and Officer Velez, we're going to start with you. So come on up. If you've got someone to hold the Bible for you, if you so choose, you can do that. Okay. Okay. You can hold this as well. Raise your right. So I'll read the oath of office to you, and then you just. So I, Joshua Velez, do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution. Of the United States. And the state of New Jersey. That I will bear true faith. And allegiance to the same. And to the governments established in the United States. And in this state. Under the authority of the people. And that I will faithfully. Impartially. And justly perform all the duties of the office of Bedminster Township Police Officer. According to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
and that I will not use my office
I will not use my office
to grant preferential treatment
to grant preferential treatment
or to seek personal gain,
or receive personal gain,
favor, or advantage
favor, or advantage
not available to the general public.
not available to the general public. So help me God.
Just some photos with the chief and the lieutenants. Yeah, not your group.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You do photos now? Yeah, actually, you do them now, and we'll bring it all sorts
Should we get the seal in the back?
No,
The big one. The guy was just, yeah.
You know, we just heard about your photography skills earlier.
Yeah,
So
right
make sure you got it right.
crime scene, guys.
Okay.
Right on crime.
TJ! I'm being told to send.
And hand on the Bible.
And. So. Back over here. Ms. Ray wants us centered with the seal.
His hand on the Bible. His hand's supposed to be on the Bible, Larry. You're gonna have to.
There we go.
Raise your. I'll hold this up. Right? I
Thomas Hill Jr.
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the state of New Jersey,
and the state of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of Bedminster Township Police Officer
of the Township of Bedminster Township Police Officer
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
and that I will not use my office
and that I will not use my office
to grant preferential treatment,
to grant preferential treatment,
nor to seek personal gain,
in order to seek personal gain,
favor, or advantage
favor, or advantage,
not available to the general public.
not available to the general public,
So help me God.
so help me God. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did Paul get the screening?
He's got it. He's gonna properly center. Allison already yelled at him.
Find out if that code is.
You giving you a hard time now?
Congratulations.
You're out then? Yeah. You sit here. Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right.
So just so you know, an observation, and I think we all feel this, that, you know, in Bedminster, once the Bedminster officers are here, they stay here. They get that affinity to the township, to the department, and, you know, I think it's kudos to the chief and the lieutenant for operating a police department that folks want to come to. Whether they start their careers with us or they come to us having served elsewhere, credit, because they do want to come here. Those that work here want to stay here. And once again, I think it's a tremendous credit to the two of you. So thank you very much for your work and your dedication. This is the time of the meeting. We open the microphone or the Zoom to public comments. So if there's any members of the public who wish to make a statement, please come on up to the microphone, give your name and the street that you live on.
You know I hate this, right?
And if you prefer, we can put you on camera.
No, thank you.
Name and street, please.
My name is Dawn March. I live at 41 Edgewood Road. And I'm going to be a little emotional during this, so please forgive me. So I just wrote up quick something. I'm just going to read it. So last week, the outside of my condo unit was vandalized. The damage was serious and potentially life-threatening, not only to me, but to my neighbors. My 5 gas lines from my gas meter and the refrigerant line to my AC unit were severely damaged, resulting in multiple gas leaks. I would like to acknowledge and immensely thank PSE&G, the Bedminster Police Department, especially Officer Gabe Rivera, for the quick response and follow-up. Chief Bernardo, you have a great team. Thank you so much. I hope they catch the bastard. Lastly, thank you to the Bedminster Plumbing Inspector who gave emergency authorization so repairs could start immediately. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. March, and I hope they get the bastard too. And I think I speak for the entire Township Committee.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. March.
Chris?
No? No?
I have
Ms.
no-
Ray, do we have anyone
There's no
participating
one
via
online
Zoom?
here. No.
No, okay, we will proceed with the rest of the meeting. We do have one set of meeting minutes to approve. That's the September 5, 2023 Township Committee meeting. Any questions or comments regarding those minutes? Seeing none, take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have one permit to review. That's a social fair permit to benefit Expect Miracles Foundation on October 2, 2023, from 7:15 to 3 p.m., 7:15 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Fiddler's Elbow Country Club on Rattlesnake Bridge Road in Bedminster. Any questions or comments regarding the social fair permit? If none, take a motion to approve.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And we'll proceed to monthly report discussion by subcommittee chairs. Committeeman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. So DPW Ski Hill Drive, I think, is scheduled to be milled and paved tomorrow. So we've got the paving going forward. We continue to do mowing throughout the town, obviously lining of the fields for the soccer and sporting events. We've got some Fall Fest prep that we're starting to do, and also doing some work on some truck maintenance, doing some preventative maintenance work. HPC, we've got a bunch of applications coming in for the meeting coming up this month, so more to follow on that. Had a meeting in the Timberbrook neighborhood, but we can save that if you'd like, Mayor, to later in the meeting if you'd like. But as far as my subcommittee reports, that's all I've got. We can address the Timberbrook meeting later if you'd like.
Sure, that's fine. Okay. Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, all. We have library board on Wednesday, you and I, and Board of Health meeting on Thursday. So I'll report out on that at the next meeting. That's all I
Okay,
have right now.
Great, thank you. Committeewoman Marasky.
Good evening, Mayor. As everybody knows, I've been talking about it for weeks. We had bat night last Friday night, 7:15 River Road Park. And I brought the chair.
A bat.
A bat. No, a baddie. No, I brought the chair of the Environmental Commission to give us a quick rundown on how fabulous that night went for everybody. Dawn March, come on up.
And this is news to me. I was just supposed to support her. So that night was a huge success. We had 55 residents come. It was a beautiful night, a little cool. We didn't really have any bats show up, but Leah Wells gave an amazing presentation. The kids were thrilled, asking tons of questions. It was great. But like with any event, we did have some technical difficulties. With that, First off, personally, I'm so sorry. Personally, I would like to thank my environmental commission. I would like to acknowledge and thank the following.
Renee, are you texting Dawn's phone?
I'm so
Probably your
sorry.
husband.
I would like to acknowledge and thank the following people. Without them, that night would not have happened. Environmental Commissioner Deb Taglieri. Deb ran the entire event, did an amazing job. She is so super organized. The emails were flying. She picked up equipment. She's just amazing. Committeewoman Renee Moreski, our township liaison. Neil Mastrobono from Rec. Kevin from DPW. They moved our bleachers. They handled everything at the park that we needed handled. Elliot Perez, our IT person, who was available to us after hours on his own to handle up the phone calls and help with all the issues we were having. And finally, the Bedminster Police Department, who not only last minute rushed over and got their projector and brought it to us because ours failed. They actually stayed till the end. It was very dark out. They ensured every resident got out of there safely. They handled the traffic. They were amazing. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Dawn, and thank you to all who assisted the Environmental Commission and the Rec Department in putting that night on.
55 attendees.
That's
The-
great.
The bleachers were filled and we had to move a picnic table over. That's how many people came.
Wow.
And like Dawn said, the little kids were asking questions. Someone asked, does garlic keep bats away? Can a bat turn into a vampire? Lots of questions. It was a lot of fun. Leah had some new slides, so even though I saw it in Bedminster Buddies, someone said they saw it last year, there was new information. Leah's really good about updating. And actually bats are eating lanternflies, so that was excellent information.
Oh, good deal.
But it was great. I'm so proud of these guys. It was awesome.
Great, thank you.
And real quick, actually, I'm going to pass this on to Gina, but the Family Fun Night that is co-sponsored by EC and Rec, don't forget, is the 29th.
Okay, thank you. Committeewoman Fernandez.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a few quick updates. First, the Family Fun Night is going to be held Friday, September 29th. All the previously scheduled activities will be at the event, followed by a reptile demonstration and a movie, Lila Crocodile. And Fall Fest is quickly approaching. Fall is quickly approaching. And that is scheduled for October 28th. And exhibitor and sponsor registration forms are still coming in. We have scheduled all the activities for the event: inflatables, petting zoo, band, food trucks, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll have a rec meeting tomorrow, and I'll have some more specific updates next time. And that's all.
Great, thank you. So from my subcommittees, Land Use Board, we did not have any hearing at the last meeting. There are two applications that have been submitted that may be scheduled for, let's see, where we're looking at, October 12th at this
Right,
point. Those have yet to be scheduled. They're still pending completeness reviews. A library board meeting, just as Colin mentioned, we have that later this week. Farmers Market, our numbers continue to outpace where we were in prior years. So we had 961 on this last Saturday. It was a beautiful day. And the crowds coming in were really constant throughout the entire day. So it was just great to see. And once again, we'll be out there on this Saturday as well. That's what I have for my subcommittee reports. We'll proceed to the administrator's report with Ms. Ray.
Yes, Mayor. Today I attended the Somerset County Municipal Managers Meeting. There's 21 managers that participate. Just some of the top issues discussed that everybody's wrestling with is a lack of volunteers for fire and EMS. There was some discussion, Colleen Marr was in attendance as well, about county consolidation. There's low response times in some of the southern portions of the the county. Several of us have arrangements with Robert Wood Johnson at Atlantic Health during the day for EMS services. Another was Animal Control Solutions, Animal Control Services, I should say, that there's only one game in town. It's quite a monopoly and prices are pretty high. Everybody's complaining about that. Third, I should say, was the state health benefits plan. A lot of people are struggling, trying to figure out what to do. The state's is probably going to come back and reduce their rates, but go back up the following year. So people are rushing to all these health insurance funds. We are already in one and have been since 2011. And our rates are, I think they're still close to 10% lower than the state rates, so, which is very good. The other was county library tax is really putting a squeeze on some of the municipalities, especially those that have county library in their branches of the county libraries in their municipalities. And last was next Thursday, we have an important meeting for the sewer utility and sewer transmission advisory board with our partners from PPAC Gladstone as well as Far Hills to discuss the Miller Lane pump station project. And that concludes my report.
Great, thank you. We are not introducing any ordinances tonight, but we do have one ordinance for the public hearing. That is ordinance number 2023-017, which appropriates $44,000 for various equipment to be used for the Far Hills Bedminster Police Department. Take motion to open the public hearing.
Second?
I'm sorry, who seconded that?
Second, I did.
Oh, I'm so sorry, thank you.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so I believe we've gone through the ordinance before. Once again, this is appropriating money that we've already allocated during the budget session to the Far Hills Bedminster Fire Department. Once again, this is $44,000 for various equipment purchases. Any questions or comments regarding ordinance number 2023-017? Go to public comment. Any member of the public have any questions regarding this ordinance for $44,000 for fire department equipment?
It's very cool, it's mostly hose, right?
Mostly hose.
There's extrication tools as well as hose. Yes, sir.
Seeing no comments, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2023-017.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And now we need a motion to approve ordinance number 2023-017.
So moved?
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4 items on the consent agenda. These are matters that are routine in nature. If any member of the Township Committee wants to pull one off for individual consideration, we can certainly do so. If not, I'll take a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda.
So moved?
Second?
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
We have no resolutions that are not on the consent agenda. So we'll take a motion to approve the bill list pending review of individual invoices.
Second.
Roll call vote again, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
Matters for new business. Doug, do you want to raise the Timberbrook issue now?
Sure, Mayor. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's a good place for that. So last Friday, CGP&H and Heather Mahalty. I can never say your name.
Mahaly.
Thank you. I apologize, Heather. We had a meeting with the Timberbrook folks, and just so you know, the Timberbrook community just ended their restrictions, and now they're into market. So the conversation we're having with the folks out there that are in affordable units is whether they wish to re-up the affordability restrictions. So we were meeting with them, and long story short, we just basically said, look, each person's got their own situation, and it's not an all or nothing proposition. It's up to anyone who wants to consider it. You don't all have to do it, none of you have to do it, but if you perceive there's an advantage for yourself to have, lesser amount of taxes, and we had mentioned HOA fees as well, because we thought that they sort of mirrored, they would get a reduced amount of HOA fee if they're affordable, and we were asked, what does that have to do with you? And said absolutely nothing at all. So it was really, just a question and answer session for them to understand what are the moving parts here. So we provided them with data information about what they could sell their units for. In the program, suggested that they go out and get realtors, so we let them know what it might be worth outside, the market, and to make your own decision. So Heather was great. Passed out some forms, some information. A couple of the folks are interested in at least exploring the issue. They asked, why are we doing this? And certainly explained to them that we have affordable housing obligations going forward. So we want to make sure that we can preserve as many as we can. But basically it's up to them to make the decision, and we were just there to provide them with the information. So again, I thought it went really well, and Heather's received some preliminary responses from a couple folks interested in perhaps re-upping. So we'll see where we go.
That's great. Doug, do you recommend that we keep this on for under new business?
Maybe we could do that for a period of time. The question did come up is, what is the window here? In other words, what is the window for the unit owner to decide to re-up or not? And the response we got back from the tax department in terms of the estimated tax bills and when that might go into play, it's probably not until August of next year, where you're actually going to see a conversion from an affordable rate to a market rate in terms of the taxes. So we were encouraging the folks, obviously they want to do it, we want to hear from them. And if they're not interested, we want to hear from them too.
Right.
But if you're at all interested, try to make your decision sooner as opposed to later, just because it's, once you start getting the tax bills going, it's going to create a little bit of a problem. But I said, quite frankly, that from a municipality's perspective, we're interested in the units, so I'm not so sure we close the door forever for someone down the line to say, hey, I'd like to talk about putting a unit into restriction. So I was pretty honest about that we would, in all likelihood, have that conversation down the line, but we want to know sooner as opposed to later. So people are out there making their minds up, and hopefully they're speaking with realtors to figure out what their units are actually worth. Because then we explained to them, and we're sort of at the tip of the spear here. There are some other municipalities in the state, I understand, that are going through this as well with us. But by and large, we're the first units that are coming out of restrictions here that are built in the 80s and the 90s. So we're all, proceeding somewhat cautiously.
Right, we've seen Parkside and Cortland come off restriction, Timberbrook, and then eventually I think is it 2024, 2025 is when Village Green comes off. So there's more coming. But Doug, thank you for.
I just wanted to say thank you for meeting with them.
Yeah.
I think meeting with people beforehand is extremely beneficial, and I'm sure you made them aware of the last recapture fee at the last sale of the unit. And I think people knowing that ahead of time, it eliminates a lot of confusion, and any questions they might have, they now have a rapport with you to ask. So thank you for doing that.
Sure. And to your point, Gina, thank you. And yes, the recapture fee came up because that was one of the issues, right?
Yeah.
That these folks that we're talking to, although their units have converted to market, that recapture fee still exists for that one extra sale, which these folks are subject to. So it's really the difference in 80% at the recapture rate versus 100% in market. So there's really not that big of a delta between what they're going to put in their pocket by having the unit go to market. But again, we're not making their decisions for them, and told them, everybody, go out, do your due diligence.
Yeah.
We're here to give you answers, but you have to make the decision what's good for you.
Right.
Agreed.
And
So,
that's a good meeting to have with Village Green, because that's going to be a lot more units coming off restriction to
That's
have
right.
with that group.
That's right. It's, look, and hopefully we work out some of the kinks before we get to that, where you've got a mass conversion where we're situated to handle that. So we'll learn, and we'll get better. But I thought it went very well, and certainly better than the first time through. So we'll continue to work on that.
great, absolutely. And just to, drive that point home, certainly every individual's decision is an individual decision,
That's for
right?
sure.
Some folks may say the week after it comes off market and calling a realtor and I'm going, and others might be in a different financial situation. So great meeting. So thank you very much. DOT improvements and Pluckman signage, Committeeman Hickey.
I believe the only update on that, Mayor, is they updated the signs near the hills to correct the arrows that were faulty. So now it shows you can make left-hand turns in the right place and go straight in the other lane, as opposed to how it was before.
I will say, since that meeting was maybe 3 months ago, I took a special trip and just to prove that I was wrong, and I was wrong. They said what they said, what you said they said.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
And
funny
that
how you
was,
go by there every day of your life and you don't even pick up.
And I want to thank the Bedminster resident who pointed
Yep.
that out, since it was an email, so I don't know if he wants his name out there, but thank you very much, Bob. We'll just leave it at- And we'll leave it at that. But there is something on the Pluckman signage, not necessarily a sign, but a telephone or utility pole that went the utility pole to nowhere.
It's gone.
It's gone.
All right.
So that was one of the issues about Pluckman signage, is that Pluckman, that area, Pluckman on 20206 is just inundated with signs and extracurricular. Well, one of those extracurriculars was a utility pole, a Verizon utility pole that had nothing attached to it. So with the contacts at JCP&L, Committeeman Hickey reached out saying, hey, you got a pole that doesn't do anything. And I did not think it would be as quick.
You
As
did
it
mention that
turned out-
last time when I mentioned that work order. You were thinking geologic time. but-
Yes, I was thinking utility time.
Yes,
And-
yes.
And it was months as opposed to what I expected to be
Yes,
years.
yes.
But
It is
So-
gone.
thank you for
Small
picking it
victories.
up. Which then leads us into the utilities discussion.
Believe it or not, no real updates. The fiber project is proceeding. They are continuing to dig, but I really have no other status on that. I will keep you posted as to, I've reached out and asked them when their marketing department will start cranking up and notifying those neighborhoods that have been fully fibered now. They're working through the schedule. I'll probably have more of a definitive answer at our next meeting, so I'll provide an update then.
Okay, so I did drive through because there was a report that there was some directional drilling that was coming under Washington Valley.
Yes,
and
yes,
some others.
yes,
And
yes.
I didn't, by the time I got out there, I didn't see any evidence of that activity.
Right.
So do you know what exactly was installed?
That is the ring network that goes all the way around the hills. So they're probably providing additional capacity to then feed the hills and feed the individual neighborhoods. That's really what that's all about.
Okay, thank you. And back to Committeeman Stevenson, if there's any update on Pluckman Park housing and any discussions with the owner.
So the only, not really an update there, but it's sort of a forecast to when we might get an update, and that would be September of 2025, because that is when the owner has decided that the current pilot expires. So I don't know whether we're going to hear too much more from them.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Well, that's it for old business. We will proceed to Township Committee comments. And we will recuse to executive session. And then we will come back to these chambers in public session for adjournment. So let's go through Township Committee comments, and then we'll take a motion to go to executive. Committeeman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. My only comment would be to, again, formally welcome and Officer Hill, Officer Velez, welcome to the family. Hopefully they have a very fruitful, prosperous career here, and it's great to see them get sworn in. So,
Thank you. Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to echo Committeeman Stevenson's comments, welcome to the family. Right? Nice to see these young guys coming and joining us, and thank you, Chief and Lieutenant, for your work in hiring them on and creating a great force. Thank you.
Committeewoman Mareski.
And again, we'll echo their sentiments. Officer Hill and Velez, welcome to the family, and thank you to the whole police department for helping with that night. It was great. The guys came down, set everything up, hung out with us, added some questions, we're chatting with people. It was great, and I think everybody appreciated that. So thank you.
Thank you. Committeewoman Fernandez.
And just want to welcome Officer Hill and Officer Velez to Bedminster, and we're very happy to have you here. And I want to thank Dawn March for coming out and giving us an update on Bat Night, and that's all.
Thank you. And I want to say a special thank you to Dawn March for giving me the opportunity to say, I hope they get the bastard on camera at a public hearing. So thank you, Dawn. And once again, I do hope they get the bastard. That's it. With that, I'll take a motion to go to executive session.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Robin will turn off the microphone and we will return. It is 8:34. Bedminster Township Committee has returned from our executive session. We are not taking any formal action following our executive session, other than to take a motion to adjourn for the night.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you
Aye.
and good night.
Good night.